That's what a choice we've got with these. We've got with these political leaders we've got in the LibLabCon and also that Green Party. It's no wonder Dave Cameron doesn't want to show his face in the live TV election debates. I mean, it's no wonder. It really is. He'll be absolutely laced by Nigel Farage. He'll whip his arse. What have we got? We've got. This is the same guy that's willingly accepted Amjad Bashir, the most corrupt politician of our time, into his party without even checking. Or UKIP have kicked him out for a reason and suspended this guy, and they've just willingly accepted him, just to have a token ethnic in the party again. Anyway, what do? We've got these debates coming up, and let's go through. I want to talk about the leaders anyway. So should we start off with Ed Miliband? This is a man who can't even. Stories has been put out about him. He can't even find his way out of his own house. He got stuck, locked in his own house. Tried to climb out of a window and gashed all his leg and all that. He had to phone for help because he couldn't get out of the garden, couldn't get over the fence, and he was all embarrassed and stuff. As well as not being able to speak properly, eat properly. He can't even eat a bacon sandwich properly, which I don't even know why he's eating a bacon sandwich when he's meant to be a Jew, but that's by the by. He can't speak. He's forgetful. He forgot the biggest issue that he's going to be at the forefront of the debates over the election, this coming general election. Is immigration is the subject that's on everyone's mind, and then Ed Miliband rattles on for an hour and doesn't even include a mention of immigration in his big speech at the Labour Party conference. This is a guy that's standing to be a Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Does that not worry you? How is this guy even in a position? For a start, his dad was a cultural Marxist Jew who hated the English. He doesn't want to give us English votes for English laws. He doesn't want to agree to the boundary changes to make it a fairer first past the post system for everybody. The guy is he'll do anything for Scotland, but when it comes to the English, no, he's not interested, because he knows it would weaken his party. But he's not interested in democracy. He doesn't want to give us an EU referendum. So that's Ed Miliband. What we got next? We've got David Cast Iron Cameron, the man who lies for a living. Whenever he opens his mouth, it's a lie that comes out. The guy is just rolling up his sleeves, being seen at hospitals galore at the minute over this the NHS crisis that they're talking about, which is being put on the agenda basically, and to hide the immigration, to cover up the immigration question, which is on everyone's at the forefront of everyone's mind. They won't talk about that, and they also won't talk about the fact that the reason the NHS is in such a crisis is because of the amount of money that we're spending out £2 billion a year on health tourism for people that have never ever contributed into the system. And also the amount of money. I've just come out of the hospital today. I've had an MRI scan, and young lady that was there, she was telling me the amount of money that they spend on translators and stuff is obscene. Think of all that we can cut back, and the things they can cut back on. There's so many things they can do, and it's all about immigration. It's a big problem. We wouldn't have a crisis if there's people coming in bleaching off the system that have never paid in, making it harder for people who've paid in all their lives to access the services they've paid for. If we didn't have all these people coming over, we wouldn't have a problem. There's Cast Iron Cameron, another one who's lying through his teeth. He promised an EU referendum in 2009, relinquished, went back on it in 2010 because it wasn't the right time. He's telling us now, if we vote for him, he can offer a referendum in 2017. But I'm sorry, it wouldn't be binding anyway. The guy's a joker. The stuff he comes out with, and it's lie after lie when you look into it and look at what he's actually saying. And he's very clever. He says it in such a way as to not implicate himself. And the language he uses such terminology that he can't be held on anything. But what he's really saying is, it's like, for example, when we had the big bill from the EU and weren't getting a rebate, and he he said that I'm absolutely not paying that bill on the 1st of December, and that was the key. Those were the key words. The 1st of December. What he meant was he's paying that bill, but he's just not paying it on the 1st of December. And then what do we have next? We have George Osborne's coming out saying he's halved the bill. When really he'd split it over 2 years. So he'd halved it, but you still have to pay it. So we hadn't got anything off. There was no, they hadn't saved anything, no rebate or anything. Then that's their idea of negotiation. That's the Tory party all over. Pro EU, pro immigration, pro big banks, corporations, tax avoidance schemes for their mates. That's all they're cozying up to, big business really. That's why they love EU immigration, particularly because it affords them cheap nannies and cheap labourers, gardeners, and also cheap for the big corporate mates. Lots of Eastern Europeans to do forklift truck driving jobs and manual labour, farm labour, things like that. It's all good. It's all good for them. We don't see the benefit of it though. We're the working men at the other end of the scale. That's Cast Iron Cameron, another one. He's another traitor. So you can't vote for him either. None of them are going to give us an EU referendum. So we move on to the next. Well, he's an irrelevance really. Mr. Nick Clegg. And what has he done since he's been in Parliament and in cahoots with Cameron? He's tried to block even when the Tories have offered the odd good policy, he's put a block on it and vetoed it. And that's all he's done really. He's just been there just to block. And it's no wonder that even Cameron has had enough of him and saying he's not sure if he wants to do a deal with Mr. Clegg. He's an absolute waste of space. He's a sort of bloke who must have been bullied at school, I think. I mean, the mummy's boy, the little mummy's boy that got taken to the gates and brushed down, had his hair brushed. If he got a splash of mud on his shoes, he'd be polishing it and stuff. Oh, Nicholas, what time will you be home, Nicholas? Oh, if he had a phone today and he was a kid, he'd be on the phone every 2 minutes. Perpetual bully, what a ponce, honestly. The same guy that's been seen with a t-shirt on saying this is what a feminist looks like. Oh, I mean, I don't like Cameron, but fair play to him, he refused to wear it. But Clegg was in no doubt whatsoever. Him and Miliband couldn't get it on quick enough for that quick photo opportunity. Also regarding Miliband as well, it's like when that woman was had the begging bowl out in the photo and he put 2 pence in it. I mean, it says it all really for me. He's living up to his reputation there, isn't he? We know where he comes from, don't we? So, yeah, but so we've got Clegg. He's an irrelevance. The man's an actual barefaced liar. He's even tried to claim that only 7% of it. He's lied on barefaced liars on national telly. Only 7% of our laws are made in Brussels. When the fact is, it's about 75% of our laws are now directed from Brussels. And can you believe a word that man says anymore? He's totally lost all credibility. When he promised there'd be no tuition fees, totally went back on that, didn't he? And that was the one good thing he had. And that's even regarding the one good thing I think you have to give Clegg credit for. I think it was the Lib Dem policy that's brought back the free milk for kids and stuff at school and stuff. One of their tax thresholds, raising the tax threshold to 10.5 grand. I think that was a Lib Dem, which Tories have stole. But apart from that, they've been pretty dire, to be honest. A shambles of a party. Then we move on to Greens. Natalie Bennett. I mean, oh my God, car crash. Have you seen that interview she gave? Oh. We must make terrorism. Terrorism is to be made legal, so you can be a member of ISIS, you can be a member of the IRA. But if she so dares happen to have alternative views and want controlled immigration, or be a member of a political, popular, legitimate party like UKIP, you are a terrorist in their eyes and do not deserve a say or a vote and must be labelled. And as we've seen on Twitter now, there's a Bristol University under the heading of EDL, BNP, NF, neo-Nazis. We've now got UKIP being taught as being an extremist group. And it's total EU indoctrination and brainwashing. We can't allow this to continue. This has got to be stopped. This has got to be challenged in the courts. These cultural Marxists are the reason why. If you look around all of Europe and you look at white countries while we're getting flooded with Africans and third worlders, it's all down to these cultural Marxist evil policies. It's all being driven to water down the white race. It is really, well, you've got to look into it. This is what's going on in Australia, in America, UK, in Germany, Holland. It's going on all over a grand scale, and it's coming from the EU, the Bilderbergers, the corporates. They want to control the masses, and by doing that, they know, see, water down races and dumb people down. We have all this dumb crap telly on, just reality TV all the time. They want to dumb down race of people they can rule over. And they're trying to exterminate the white man, the white working class man, particularly is seen as a threat to them. Probably because we have our own mind, or a lot of us are self-employed or work for our money. Let them get on with it. Soon they'll have nobody here in this country working. I mean, the small businessman's always getting hammered. We need to change. We need, political landscape needs to change, and change very soon if we are to survive. That Natalie Bennett, I mean, her costings, if you watch this video, it's one of the most dire, damning indictments, damning political interviews I think I've seen. It was on the Sunday Politics. If you YouTube Sunday Politics and watch the interview with Natalie Bennett car crash interview, it's dire. Her costings are out. All she could do was mumble through the interview and say it's on the Green website, we are fully doing the costings and stuff, and she couldn't give any info on anything. It was an absolute shambles. And now soon she'll be, they're like the feminist lobby, they'll be banning, men will be banned soon in the bedroom from making love to their wives. It'll have to be replaced. Will have to be replaced eventually by a big blow-up man or something, or even it'll only be dykes allowed or something like that, you know. That's the way they're going. They just hate men haters. They are the real bigots and prejudiced. I'm going to get hammered for saying this, but it's the truth. They hate men. And they particularly probably hate white Englishmen as well, like me. I am the enemy to them. So I don't apologise for saying this, folks. Whatever you think of me, I'm not a racist, actually. I just love my country. I want sensible immigration. If I want people to come here with skills, I want people, if they come in here, to bring us something and to work and contribute and pay their way. If they do that, then fine. If they want to buy a house, fine. Bring their kids here, fine. If they want to live by British rules, British values, fine. There's no problem. But I do have a problem when they come here and start dictating to us, start leeching off our system. The people that have never paid anything in. That's when I have a problem. And it's getting worse and worse as we go on. We've got whole inner cities full of there are whole schools with not one white English student. How can this be right? And it's getting rolled out and rolled out and rolled out. And in 30 years of saying, like Enoch said, he warned us years ago. We were on a sticky, slippery slope. And he was so right, that man, and he got ridiculed. He was an intelligent, articulate man. He didn't deserve that. He was a hero, Enoch Powell. And he said the great betrayal would be, the greatest betrayal of the British people would be to see and not to speak, and he did that. And it's taking everyone. We need more and more people to speak out. The more and more of us that speak out, we all know what's going on, but don't let yourself be subjugated by these cultural Marxists. Stand up for yourselves. Honestly, they aren't that clever. I've had so many arguments with them on Twitter and stuff. When you actually put a good argument forward, and you cover all bases, and you work out their little straw man arguments, and you work out ways to defeat them, and speak articulately and just straightforward rhetoric, and you can defeat these liberals. They're not. They shout. All they do is all gang up. Really, they're bullies. They gang up, and they'll attack you from all sides. And they come up with the same old stuff all the time. Racist. I mean, you had a guy the other day, and all he did, racist, bigger. I was trying to put forward coherent arguments as to why, asking him questions back. Even all they do, they always hide. They never show their faces. Always hide behind fake profiles and shout and scream obscenities. You try and put forward a logical argument. You ask them questions back, even though they fire question after question after question. Why are you this? Why are you that? All I said was, why is it okay for Africa to be for Africans, Asia to be for Asians, You've got the Americas for Central, South, Southern Americans. Why is it okay, but Europe has to be for everybody? Why is it not okay for Europe to preserve its cultures, its heritage, and why, and its peoples? It's not wrong to say that. We're dwindling. Our birth rates are declining. People are moving to places like Australia and Europe, and we're getting flooded and more flooded with third worlders and stuff. Eventually, the country's going to come. It's population displacement. It's genocide on a grand scale. Until we recognise that. We've got to do soon. If people don't open their eyes in 10 years, what's it going to take? Another 20 years from open their eyes? It'll be too late. It's possibly too late now, but we have to try. We can start by voting UKIP. They're not perfect, but they're at least a pro-British party. That's what I'm going to suggest to people we do. But we need to get out and open our eyes and see what's going on out here. We have massive problems. And until we admit we've got the problems, the NHS is crumbling because of immigration. We have a housing shortage because of immigration. We need to deal with it. The only way to deal with it is to start kicking out illegals, people that have come in illegally, people that have got families that have come in illegally and then having children afterwards. Sorry, there's no room for them here. They have to go back to where they've come from. It sounds harsh, but I'm sorry, there's no other solution to it. That is the only way. Repatriation on a grand scale. It's the only thing that's going to save the United Kingdom, folks. You know that makes sense. If that makes me a racist, then I am a racist. Sticks and stones, what are you going to do? I'm a racist. But we still have to, whether I'm a racist or not, we still have to address the problems that we have. Please, please, get on side, folks. We have to take action. It's absolutely necessary. We've got a treacherous government in. They need removing first and foremost. We must leave the EU. That's primary concern. The European Court of Human Rights has to go. We've got to repeal the European arrest warrant too. We need to preserve our freedoms, what we have. We're starting to lose them. We've seen that with the Charlie Hebdo situation, the terrorist attacks. Do not bow, do not yield to terror. We must fight back. We are British at the end of the day. We must preserve our culture. We are British. It's worth fighting for. We had an empire one day. I'm sure if we had an empire back in the day, we can run our own country. We don't need the EU. We can trade with the world again, the Commonwealth. That is what we must do. Let's just hope now that Greece leaves the Eurozone and it starts to crumble. Hopefully that will do the work for us and we can start to see revolution. Bye for now. God bless.